Yeah. Good evening, all. Let me know, is audio and video everything is fine to you? Today's topic is covering the strings in C language. So now there are multiple ways to deal with the strings in C language. तो यहाँ पर हम ऐसे देखेंगे, हम बहुत अलग अलग वेज को हम देखने वाला है, स्ट्रिंग्स को कैसे हैंडल कर सकते हैं हम. Of course, you also have the separate header file to deal with the functions, but now based on the understanding of the arrays and pointers, now how the strings we can use in C language. Then what is the string first of all? तो शुरू करते हैं हम आज की सेशन द सी स्ट्रिंग्स. राइट, maybe you have studied the C strings already, but we might be using the strings from the beginning of this C programming, like the percentile s we use for the strings if you require, correct? Yeah, सारे subjects का होगा, but it depends on the requirement, right? If the many students are coming and asking the requirement, we are there to teach you. But only thing is, like many people joins the paid batches and they go with the systematic courses, and we see very few people on YouTube classes. So it all depends on you. Like if many people are coming and asking for the sessions, we are there to help you. Okay. So anyhow, let's begin the today's session. C strings. हम बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स कवर किया है, अभी हम कवर करेंगे सी स्ट्रिंग्स, है ना. यही टॉपिक कवर करने वाला है, सी स्ट्रिंग्स. और आज की सेशन में खास बात क्या है, वी आर गोइंग टू यूज द Geeks for Geeks प्लेटफॉर्म टू start these C strings, like what content we have, and how you can utilize the Geeks for Geeks platform to study this topic too. Like not the topic, any topic that you want to study, you can. Okay. So today's topic is strings. Let's begin with how to utilize this Geeks for Geeks platform to learn any topic that you wanted. Okay. So I hope you are aware of the Google search. You can search the C strings. Sorry. You can search here C strings. Now you can see the C strings, right? I'm just searching it. Now you can see, just browse it. You will see the first page, which will be first link will be strings in C, right? Geeks for Geeks. So now you can start reading. Very interestingly, you have every content, like the way you want to study from the Geeks for Geeks. You have a very beautiful content here, this platform. What you can do, you can just start reading what you wanted here. The strings in C programming is a sequence of characters terminated with a null character. So this is what you require to understand. Of course, the way we teach is exactly already there on the platform. So what is strings in C? If you are declaring an array, you want to store a string, yes, you must specify in double quote that if you store geeks in double quote, the special character which will be stored in a string, that is G will be stored at first, 𝐸𝐬𝐾𝐸, and especially every string ends with null character. There's a special place where the null character is stored at the end of the geeks. So this is what you need to understand the strings. Let's look at what do you mean by the string here. So we'll go together. So what is a string? The string is sequence of characters and every string in C language especially ends with a null character that we say /0. Right. In case if you are going to declare character array, let's say char a of, if you store, let's say geeks, what happens here? A is an array. The size is calculated based on the string that you have assigned. G stores here E, E, K, S, and especially every string ends with null character. And this is what called as a string in C language. Every string ends with a null character. I hope you understood the first point, the what is a string. Right. So similarly, you can utilize the Geeks for Geeks platform. I hope lakhs of the people are using in every year, and many are getting benefited from the platform. So I want you to look at the more in detail. So what this string says, right? So now declaring a string is very simple in C language, just like the one-dimensional array, correct? So you can just have character array where you can store the string. But there are many other ways. Initialization you just understood, like, right? There is another way to store the string, like rather than storing the geeks in double quote, so automatically it assigns. There is another way to store the geeks string in the character array. So what is that? Rather than doing this, you can also do another way. The same thing, the char A is character array, right? So here, how many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the additional null character. So G is the character, and then E is the character, and E is the character, K, S, and then there is a special null character. So here also you can declare an array with initialization, each character separately. So both are exactly the same. Even here also A is an array of the characters where first G is stored, then E, then K, then S, then null character. So you can achieve the same the concept with the another way, that is you can assign individual character to character in array so that it also treats like a string, and every string should end with null character. That's why this null character is must. And now we'll try to understand how to read how to print this the string that is stored in the character array. If you want to print it, now there is, I'm very sorry, there is another way to deal with. So now you have the character array. Let's say you have it as a geeks, and you want to print it, correct? You want to print using printf. Are you going to use a loop because it is an array? No, right? You can directly print the string. There's a special feature, the special format specifier is there, printf %s. Just mention the address of the first character. Automatically it prints all the characters of the string till the null character. This %s is a format specifier that will help us to print a string on the screen using printf, right? Similarly, you can also read a string using scanf. Let's begin the program that is mentioned on Geeks for Geeks website. So now if you suppose say %c, what happens is it prints only the character which is there in the first position. G it will print. So %c will help us to read only character, but for that you should give exact element location like str of 0. You can access the character, correct? You can access the character, and if you want to access the whole string, then you must use the %s. The small change here, okay, this is just to update the first character of the string, and there are a lot of examples that you can find on the Geeks for Geeks. Even we don't require it, but still it will give you more clarity while learning on Geeks for Geeks. You can see if I want to replace the first character of the geeks, like G I want to replace with the R, just what you have to do, str of 0 is equal to that R you must specify in single quote to represent as a character. And now if you print the %c str of 0, it will print R instead of G because G was replaced with R already, correct? So in array, this is how you can replace the character first character of the array. And there are functions which are available to find the length of the string, and there are many other functions available. So that is the string length strlen function. If you want to use that function, like I want to know what is the length of the string, what is the size is different, no doubt, and what is the length of the string, you have how many characters, 1 2 3 4 5 characters is there. So in C language we have the special function called as strlen, the string length function, where you mention the address of the first character of the string, like str also represent address of str of 0, correct? Yeah. Now what it does, it goes to the first character and it will find out all the characters till the null character, and null character will not be counted as the actual character. So in the string length it will print 1 2 3 4 5, it will give you the output 5. So strlen function you can use to find the length of the string, but you should pass here the address of the first character. Okay. And the one beautiful example is given on the Geeks for Geeks platform, like how do you read a string using scanf? Okay, now let me help you. What happens if you do with the scanf? Suppose people uses the scanf, right? Let's say I have a character which is, let's say, A. Let me give you, let's say, 100. And I want to read a string. When you use a scanf, this scanf is going to read up to the space only, right? When you say %s and when you mention the address of the first character, what it does is it reads the string from the keyboard but till this space only. So it cannot include the spaces. So if you are giving a string which is having a spaces, it cannot take. So this is going to take only one word without any space. And if you print them, if you print it, it will print the word only. Right? It reads and prints immediately. This is how you read only one word without any space. It does read a string or a word without any space. But if you want any string with a space, then there is a way to read a string with a space till you can whole line you want to read. There is the same scanf, I can use it. And the example I'm going to explain here, you can see I want to read the string with a space, and look at this, how beautifully the example is explained here. And the way you should write is %s we write in general, but you want to read till the entire line, then till you press enter, let's say, and %, and you need to use the caret symbol and /n. Right, put in a square brackets, it is going to read until the new line comes. And this is one of the best beautiful example for the beginners. You will get a clarity like how to read a string without a space and with a space. So if you want to include a space within a string, just you need to mention in a scanf, where rather than writing %s, you just mention read up to the null character, the new line, right? This is how you do. And if you print %s, now it's going to print till the null character. And while reading, the scanf by default takes the space as the separator of the input. That is the reason %s can read up to the space only. So if you want to include the spaces, there is a way to read a string using the new line concept. So now you can just try reading an input with the help of the %, and put a square bracket and use a caret symbol and /n. And as you mentioned here, now you can read whole line. You can have a lot of words in the single line. It's going to read the entire the string including spaces. So this is how you can do the reading a string with the spaces. Like there are other functions. If you are interested, you can go for fgetS function to read the string from the standard input device, like how many characters that you want to read, the 20, std in. So you can use this platform to to understand the strings in detail. So now we are going to look at we understood how the string works. There are many ways the string you can understand in C language. Let me help you. The one, you can use a scanf to read the string, and right. Other ways you can assign the string to the array. There are 3 ways I'm going to talk about here. The first way is an array where you can store a string. Correct? This is one easiest way. But the same thing that you can achieve by mentioning each character. Correct? And this is a time consuming process, but which is exactly same as the above one. There is another way which is not same. Assume this is one way, and second way, you can use a pointer rather than the array, like char star, let's say s, I want to have a string x. Then what is the main difference between these two? So better to write here. Yes, we also use it for format specifier, right? Let's take p. And what is the difference between now a and p? If you try to compare this a and p, of course both are dealing with the strings only, but a is an array but p is not an array. Understand? A is an array but p is not an array. P is just a variable which holds address of the string. Now we'll try to compare these two kinds of the declarations and initializations here. When somebody has the character array, what happens here is A is an array which is going to store G, right? Now when you assign the string to the pointer, let's say star p. Did I use that star p here? Yes. When you do this, geeks, what will happen here? The p is not the character, it's a pointer where the geeks is actually stored in a buffer, in a memory somewhere, and the address of the first character is given. You don't have an access to this. That p will have an access to this, and you don't have. This is constant now. What is this? Constant. You cannot modify it. But this is not a constant now. You can modify wherever you want it. So the difference between this is now p is going to have an address of the first character. Right. Now the first difference is the way you that realize here is almost same. Here also you are dealing with a string. Here also you are dealing with a string. The main difference between them is you can modify this array, but you can't modify this because it's treated as a constant. And p is having an address of the first character, and this is the constant in a memory, but this is you can modify. Now if I want to modify like a of 0 is equal to like mention r, then what happens? The g is modified to r, no doubt. But do here like you want to modify p of 0 is equal to r, you will get an error. It's not allowed because you're trying to modify the constant. The compiler identifies this, okay, because this is treated as a constant now. So we should not use this kind of the modification for the constants. It's called as a constant. Constants cannot be modified. Correct? So you should be careful when you deal with the pointers, because if you are assigning a string to the pointer, the pointer holds the address of the first character, but when you are assigning to the array gets each character into the locations. Okay. Yeah, great. Yeah, game changer. Double star p is also great thing. Yeah, you can use it if you have the double pointer. You understood the difference, but you know, you can directly use the printf concept. For both of them it is similar. I can use the %s to print a string which will print, and anyhow you are not allowing, you are not doing it, so I'm removing it. Now if I want to use the printf, you can use here also same. Printf, you are passing the address of the when you say p, the p is going to have an address of the first character, and you are sending the address of the first character, so it's going to print the null character. You will see the same output from the both. Correct? So when you are dealing with the strings, and look at how you are initializing the string, If you are initializing to an array, then you can modify that string, but if you are initializing to the pointer, then you cannot modify that characters of the string. And the main difference between dealing with an array and a pointer, dealing with array and pointer. I hope you understood the difference between these two. And you can also try what happens here is, if you try to print size of a, it will give you the whole size. Like if it every character is 1 byte, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 bytes allotted. But when you ask size of p, it will only give the address size because it stores address, not a string. Okay, that's the main difference between these two. Okay. Now we can practice some of the questions, and let me show you like what is there on Geeks for Geeks. You can go each and every concept which is mentioned in all the standard C libraries. String.h library is given, or the functions are available like string length function, string copy function, string compare, string concatenate. And if you want to practice any of this, let's say string copy, then you can, it's clearly mentioned. Of course, in C, C++ it is used, and this was a C++ program, but similarly you can also write in a C program, and how to use the string copy function from the string.h library, right? You can clearly see the whole detailed the concept of string copy function. So I hope you will utilize this platform to learn the C programming. It's not just for the C, any programming language which is are needed for you for the placements or competitive exams like C, C++, Java, Python, or most of the programming languages. The data is already available on Geeks for Geeks, and the complete data is absolutely free. You can utilize to learn this platform, learn the concepts from this platform. Let me help you. This was one of the gate question. Just it is mentioned how to deal with just array, right? Array and pointer. So we are dealing now array, pointer, string. The three concepts we are using it. Now, can someone answer it? The question which is given here. The ARR is an array which is having the lot of elements. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 elements are there. And let me give you the layout how you are going to deal with these elements. 13 elements you have here. Certain elements, and the values are stored here. Okay. And then IP is a pointer, right? What is IP here? IP is a pointer which is going to point to the ARR plus 4. This is 0, right? So 1 2 3 4. It's pointing to the fifth element. ARR plus 4 means it starts from ARR plus 0, right? Plus 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4. It's going to point to the fifth element of an array. And now somebody is asking like, what is the IP of 1? What happens is IP is pointing to this location. This location is treated as 0 index, and this is 1 index. This is -1 index. I told in the last class, if you are dealing with any pointer, you can use the negative and positive index here. And if you want to use the IP to access these elements, this index can be used, because IP right now pointing, that's called as the you can treat as the current location as 0 index. So IP plus 0 will go to the present, IP plus 1 will go to the next element address, IP plus 2 will go to the from here the third element it will go. So now if you are going for IP of 1, that will give you the 6. What it will print? The 6. Exactly. Right, very easy program. This was asked in GATE 2019. If you know basically how to declare an array, how to access an element, how to declare a pointer, how to assign the address to that pointer, then this would become so easy. Okay. There is another question which is given in 2004. I hope you are able to read the question. Let me check it. Yeah. So what will be the output? This is percentile S. If not visible, let me write that. This is percentile S. And it is mentioned the star, which is here string. I hope remaining all are visible properly. And now you have to print the P. So meanwhile, look at what are the variables are given to you, how to access them, how to modify them. P is an array, right? P is an array they mentioned here with a 20 element size, 20 characters you can fit, and I is used for a looping, and S is a pointer which is directly pointing to the string. String is a constant here. And now you look at I is equal to 0. I less than length where I plus plus. Now run this loop. What happens here if you run this loop? The P of I, you are trying to get the element from S. So now every time you need to find out what's happening. Length is nothing but str length, string length of S. What is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters is there. So in length you will be having 6. Length is another memory where the string length is calculated, that is a 6. Now each time I is going to modify. So let's start with I is equal 0. At I is equal 0, what happens is the 0 less than length. The length is 6, right? Yes. Satisfies. It goes inside. It updates a P of 0 is equal to S of length is 6, right? 6 minus 0, which is S of 6. What is there in S of 6? This is S, right? It will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The null character is there. So the null character is going to be stored here. When you execute first time, the null character is stored here. This is done. And when you go for I is equal to 1, again 1 less than 6, because 1 is I is incremented. So 1 less than 6, then P of I, that is a 1, is equal to S of 6 minus 1 is the 5. S of 5, that is a G, is stored in this P of 1, because index here starts with 0. Now similarly, I is equal to the 2 less than 6. Now you can guess P of 2 will be S of 4. How did you get a 4? 6 minus 2 is a 4, right? This is 6 minus 2. Now S of 4 is N. So we are just storing in this order, right? N is stored here. And now keep checking it. How long it goes? Later it goes 3 less than 6. Then 4 less than 6. Then 5 less than 6. That's it, right? 6 less than 6, it will fail. Now 3 less than 6, what happens? I will store here. And 4 less than 6, R will store here. And 5 less than 6, T will store here. That's it. Now when you ask output, when you ask the P, what is the output printed? First character itself null character, so it prints nothing. No output is printed, as the first character is already what? The null character. Everybody? So the main purpose of, if anybody not able to read it, I'll write this program. Everybody can read it. Char P of, it's a gate question. I'm sorry, the slide which I have brought it is an online resource. So because of white background, you're not able to read it properly. But I'm updating this question for you so that you can read the data properly. I can understand you are not able to read it properly because the characters are not visible properly. I hope now they are visible. For I is equal 0, I less than length, here P of I is equal to S of length minus 1 or minus I, and just you are printing it. Here the first key point is the P of 0 is equal to S of 6. There only the answer is over. The null character you are printing it, you are assigning to the first location of the P, first element location of P. Then when you print from the first element itself null character, so it will stop printing. You know, whenever you use a %s, the job of printf is to print up to the null character. If the first character only null character, it will not print after the null character. Everybody got this concept? Please let me know. Everybody understood the concept? Here itself the answer is over. If you could observe properly, here only the answer is over. Here this is a null character. You are storing null character in P of 0. When you print the from first element, it will print nothing because this first character itself null character. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You have a for loop, and the only problem with the strings is the strings mostly in the exam they will be asking along with the functions or loops or recursion sometimes. Then you should be very careful while handling them. As you know, now you have a for loop, you are dealing with a string using the index. So now you should track those indices in the string. Go ahead. It is asked in GATE 2008, what is the output of this program? Yeah, let me know if you have any issue with this slide, because sometimes not readable from the image. Let me know, I'll edit for you. Right, answer क्या होगा? Similar to the previous question, but now you are doing everything with A only here. Previously there were two different arrays, now you have only one array. There only you are doing the magic, you are assigning here there itself. It is almost similar to the previous question, correct? A is an array which is having 6 of the characters or 6 elements. A is right here, yeah. What are you storing? World. So W, O, R, L, D, and by default null character is stored as it is a string constant. Now index also you can keep if you want, because you are going to deal with index. And IG you are going to use here to understand. Now look at this is the only program or the only line you should understand, because the printf is outside of for loop, because you can see here there is a semicolon. This says that you are going to execute first the initialization, the second the expression which is true or false, then there is no statement, so directly will come here. So 1, 2, no statement, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these two are you are going to execute. So first I is 0 and j is 5. At this time, what is going to happen? The condition I less than j, is it true or not? 0 less than 5, it is true. Now there is no statement, so directly it comes here. So now a of I plus plus is equal to a of j minus minus. So you should understand a of I plus plus. I plus plus means 0. But remember, the I is what you have 0, correct? And j what you have 5 here. Now here the magic is going to happen like a of I is equal to a of j only. J is what? J is 5. But you know, a of 5 is assigned to a of 0. The same time, what happens is the I value is going to increment, j value is going to decrement, because you have written the post increment and post decrement. So what happens is this increments and decrements during execution of this statement itself. So now it takes I and j values, but I and j will be incremented and decremented respectively. So now ij updated and also a of I updated to a of 0. So what is a of I? Null character that is assigned to the 0. So what happened here is null character is stored. Now have you seen, was exactly the same one that we have discussed, but we copied from different array. Two different arrays we dealt in the previous example, like null character we stored here. Now what happened is in the same array, this null character is storing here. This is the main difference they have created, but both are having the similar kind of pattern. And after that, do whatever when you are going to print a, the first character itself null character. Na? So let's see. Now after this, now condition again will check, right? So once this is over, then condition checks 1 less than 4. Now this time a of 1 is equal to a of 4, but at the same time the I and j are going to update, like 1 will become 2, 4 will become 3, right, during this one. Now what happens? A of 4 is a d assigned to this a of 1, so d is stored here. Now if you check next time, 2 less than 3 is a true, and a of 2 you are going to assign a of 3, for a of 3 you are going to assign to a of 2, and at the same time this 2 will become 3, 3 will become 2. This will increment, this will decrement. And now a of 3 is L, and L will be assigned to location 2, that is here. Now after that what happens is the 3 less than 2 will fail, and this for loop terminates. This is going to fail I less than j, then at this time terminates and comes to this printf. If you are printing the string from the first element, what happens is the first element is null character, so it prints nothing. Nothing means null string. करेक्ट? समझ में आया सबको? अगर इससे पहले जो प्रोग्राम एक्सप्लेन किया है वो समझ में आया, ये भी बिल्कुल सिमिलर है, करेक्ट? और वहां पर 2 डिफरेंट एरे से डील किया, यहाँ पर सेम एरे पर और लूप के साथ डील किया है. Okay. So in case if you are able to understand, just practice few questions. Let me give you homework questions. This is also gate question. Assume it is the homework question 1. Please practice. Let me know if you have any issues. We are going to have a lot of practice sessions in future, and which is asked in gate 2011. And just you need to deal with addresses properly, and p plus p of 3 minus p of 1. And you are going to take the characters, and when you do subtraction, you do in integer format, ASCII value format. Okay? And do this one in case if you are not able to see it properly, I'll update it. This is the char S1 of 7 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also very interesting question. Very simple but interesting. P is equal to S1 plus 2. You are using the P to access the elements of S1, and 0 here. It's a character you are storing there, and you are trying to print here percentile S in S1. Okay. So in S1 you are trying to modify something, and then you are printing S1 at the end. Okay, the output is given here, and look at here what is the output that you are going to get there. And take it as this is a third homework question, and which is also similar to the one we have seen here, right? So questions are repeated with similar format. You see that 2011 and 2017, the similar question is asked almost, correct? And if you look at all the patterns that you have seen, which is a repeated question, so no need to do it again. If you see the pattern of the questions, almost same, right, in pointers, right? In coming class, we are going to discuss even pointer to an array, and we are going to deal with the triple pointer and tomorrow's class, the next session, हम of course some gate questions take long time to discuss because you should know the pattern or you should know the concept how to deal with it. So tomorrow we'll be dealing with the bigger programs to understand the previous gate year questions. तो अब यहाँ पर wind up करेंगे. In case if you have any doubts regarding the arrays and pointers, you can connect with me on Telegram group. So we are going to discuss if you have any doubt. And thank you so much for joining this session. See you in the next session. Bye bye.